Hello everybody, the Warm here, back with some more Raging Loop. Last time, we left off at a pretty interesting decision. We have to choose who is our next target as the snake. But before that, there is something I want to do before moving on to this. I want to go back to a previous decision. Let's go back to let's see if this is it here. No, it is here. Okay. So, had a talk with Lise, I believe, and we were talking about let's go to the choice. Okay, so basically, we originally chose not to reveal here, and then that led to another choice, and in the future choice, we got a bad end that referenced an earlier bad end, and that bad end is presumably this one here. And apparently there's some important information within either this choice or in the hint corner that occurs after it. But regardless, I think it would be good to check that out. Now, this is just, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to go back and pick different people to look for as the snake on the first night. For some reason, that doesn't feel as fair to me. I'm not sure why. If you guys think I should do that, you could let me know. Like, is it just sort of information gathering? I don't know. On the one hand, a part of me is thinking, oh, these are decisions. You want to pick it and then just deal with the consequences, But in another way, you could see it as, fact finding or information gathering, and thus completely fine to do. It just feels weird to me to go back and pick every choice when we're still just continuing on with the game. I'm not finished with the route yet, but maybe that's not the right way to think about it. I don't know. What's your thought on that? If you want me to go back and we picked Takumi for the first night. Would you want me to go back and pick Mamiya and Kyonosuke? Again, for some reason, I feel hesitant to do that, but, if you have an opinion on it, you could let me know. But we're going to do this at least. We're going to see what this ending and hint corner gives us, because apparently there's some important information here. So let's do this. If this is a bad end, then I'm going to think maybe somehow the wolves pounce and are able to convince the people we're lying, and maybe we get voted out or something, because bad ends usually don't go on for very long. So let's see what happens. Okay. Now wasn't the time to rely on baseless intuition. If I kept my silence now and tried to come out as a snake later, I couldn't expect my words to hold much weight. It was okay. Given the situation, I was sure I could get people to believe me over Mamiya-san.
すみません。
At that moment, I became the target of everyone's attention. I felt like they were boring holes in me.
僕がヘビです。
なんですって？
負債師さんがヘビのカゴ車を名乗られました。他にはいませんか
？3人名乗り出る可能性はあるのかね？
That would be kind of funny.
ないと思いますが、念のためです。おられませんか？
As expected, no one stepped up.
あなたが狼ね。みんなわかってる？今狼が2人も明らかになってるのよ。
Mami-san's outburst was also expected. She spent some time ranting afterwards, but piped down after Kanzo-san told her to shut her mouth.
どっちかが本物だってのは間違いないんだよな。
そう思うけど。 ちなみに夫妻子さんは蛇として昨日誰を調べられたんですか？
匠さんを調べました。人でした。
Interesting. So this, yeah, so it goes along with the choice I made previously. Okay.
ああ、俺は確かに人だぜ。
Well, I mean, of course you'd say that.
だからといって無実が証明できるわけでもなかろう。
狼なら本当のことも言える。
そりゃそうだけど。
The reception to my claim was rather dicey. There were those who believed me, and those who doubted me from the start and still did. It didn't feel like I'd changed anyone's minds.
どうするのよこれ。
そんなに悲観するところじゃない。少なくとも判断の材料は十分に出てる。差し当たっては
記者と兄ちゃんとタエバーを順番にくくる。
Wait, what? A dumbfounded silence dominated the hall for a few seconds as everyone struggled to process what he'd said.
いや、なんでなんだよ、おやっさん。
狼はくくらねばならん。
ちょっと待ってください。証拠はともかく現状で誰が一番怪しいかは一目瞭然。
人となりで判じるとやられる。
He wasn't exactly wrong. On the other hand, my nature was suspicious, so it felt there was a strong, unbiased doubt toward me. It wasn't fair to base it on double standards, but the people of Yasumizu would just look at me the same way as Mamiya-san if I complained about that.
牧島勘三さん、質問です。あなたがおっしゃるのは怪しいものはくくるであって名乗り出たカゴ者は皆くくるではないわけですよね。さもないとカゴ者は今後一切名乗り出なくなるはずだ。安全が証明された場合はくくる必要はありませんよね。
じゃが今は。
そうですね。今は皆怪しいというところかと思います。だからこそ今怪しい3人はまだくくらなくてもいいはずです。
僕も賛成です。夫妻子さんと間宮さんはあと何回かカゴを使ってもらうべきだ。
Yasunaga-kun sure was reliable. He jumped to the conclusion I was going to make a move ahead of time and told everyone, increasing the credibility more than I could have. Kanzo-san didn't look satisfied, but it didn't seem he could find a solid grounds to argue.
おい、兄貴。結局どうすんだよ。ババアに票入れときゃいいのか？
むしろタイバーにも入れない。それで今日以降夫妻子さんと間宮さんには引き続き誰かを選んでもらう。
誰か調べるものを皆で決めてしまう手もあるかと思うがね。
それも考えたんですが、誰を選ぶかも判断材料にすべきかと。
なるほど。合理的で全員の役に立つ選択をしているか、特定のものを不自然にかばう選択でないか。
そういうことです。皆さんにもう少し分かりやすく説明しますね。明日から夫妻子さんと間宮さんは自分だけで選んだカゴの対象の正体をそれぞれ発表してもらう。それでいつか互いに相矛盾する結果がまた出るはずです。この時に改めて2人のどちらをくくるか決めればいい。例えばタイバーが本当に人だとすれば、タイバーは間宮さんが偽物だとわかるから正しく間宮さんに投票できる。
そうよ。私は分かっておる。
逆にタイバーが狼でもすでに敵対関係となった間宮さんとは投票でも敵対せざるを得ないわけで、行動を縛ることができる。あえて人側の投票をしてごまかすということができなくなる。そう考えるとタイバーの行動はすでに縛られている。今急いでくくる必要はないんです。
それよりは他に行動を縛られてるやつを増やす方が先ってことか。
そう。それでその結果、夫妻子さんと間宮さんどちらが怪しいか確定した時点で それまでの結果を総ざらいして、それで必要なら改めてくくればいいんじゃないでしょうか。
今の説明で分かったもんはおるか。
はい。
うん、私も分かった。
このまま手がかりが増えるのを待つってことですよね。そして調べがついていない人から今日くくるものを選ぶ。
俺はくくるのはやっぱり反対だ。しかしそれを全員が選ぶってなら、まだしもヤスの方針で進めたい。
そうですね。私もカゴシを守る方をあまり存在に扱われない方が受け入れやすいと思っています。
しかし早期に狼の数を減らせば心理的な圧迫によってミスを誘発することも。
少なくともボンクラ野郎がブツブツ言ってるってのはいい選択ってことなんじゃねえのか。
I wanted to point out how rude that was, but chose to keep quiet after realizing I wasn't in a position to just speak my mind.
おやっさん。
もう票を取れ。
Gonzo-san probably hadn't changed his mind. But the fact that he was letting the vote start meant that he wasn't denying that going with Yasunaga's plan was logical. He probably acknowledged that the plan made a certain amount of sense, too. He was just too proud to admit it. It wasn't just the players' power relationships and the rationality, validity of their actions that held influence here. It was also their personalities, preferences, and standing. In that respect, politics were a game, and the Feast of the Yomi Purge was politics, meaning the feast was a game of sorts. Anyway, I wouldn't be gathering any votes for this round, and neither would Mamiya-san. No, wait. Wasn't this bad?
票を取らないことを希望するやつは。
Takumi-san raised his own hand. Chemi hesitated, but didn't go for it in the end, leaving him all alone.
わかった。もういい。
神座からくくるもんを言ってけ。
The voting began with no regard for my concerns.
お前
Me again? What a messed up old-timer.
わしは記者の女に入れる。
As expected, he voted for the most suspicious one here.
私はやっぱりあんたに入れる。他のもんはわからんが、あんただけは狼じゃとわかるからね。
ええ、どうぞご勝手に。
Let's pay attention. This is very important. How the voting is going to go. Mami-san seemed to have regained some of her cool, though she already had 2 votes. She could probably tell she wouldn't get much more after this.
俺は昨日と同様、メイコに入れる。
ムロ様、どうかメイコに入れるなら私も。
あんたも怪しいが、そうやってかばうのがもっと怪しく見えんだよ。
If Mego got one more vote, perhaps it would be best to try to lead things in another direction. After all, I knew she was the only one reliable.
私はリカ子さんかしら。
また長者への逆びいきかね。その態度は安水のあなた方の身を滅ぼすとこの際忠告させていただこう。
Had some interesting comments from Amber last time. Or was it the time before? I don't remember. Apparently, I might have been getting confused about this whole village heads business, or the phrase used here. I think village heads, while it can refer to, you know, the specific leaders of the head families, village heads might just refer to the families as a whole. So I think I was getting confused on assuming who was the leaders of those families versus the families as a whole. Yeah. So I'll try to pay more attention to that.
野里様、いいのです。それより、あなた様は誰を？
私は不妻子君が怪しいという思いはまだ捨てておらんがね。材料が欲しいのは確かだ。そんなわけで芹沢千恵美に一票だ。
なんで私が？
誰の味方かはっきりしないからだ。くくるべきでないと言ってみたり、かと思えば室を突き放してみたり。
そうですね。私は当たり前に迷ってるつもりだったけど、みんなもう当たり前に殺すことを決めてるみたいだ。やっぱ嫌いですわ、こんな狂った村。
Chammy's cold words filled the hall with an awkward silence. That was proof there were some people out there who knew they couldn't exactly deny what she said. But just as I was wondering how it came to this...
僕は植松さんに、理由は昨日自分に投票するなんて派手なパフォーマンスをされたから。
Uh-oh.
あれは知恵ねえの後追いだし、考えなしの失策だと思います。
あれは不自然というだけで。
いいのです。
よくはない。あなたは少し自分の命に対して無責任すぎますぞ、リカ子さん。
いいではないですか。植松は私一人。望んで死んだところで誰も悲しむものでもない。命くらい無責任に放り出せるものが欲しいの。
りっちゃんかっけー。僕はそこまでは言えないや。さて僕の番だけど、
Rokako always gets me with her pauses.
おっちゃん、出番だよ。かっこよく飛んでくれい。
何が出番だ貴様。
The vote was all over the place. Currently, Mamiya-san and Rokako-san were sitting at the top with 2 votes each, while Meiko, Chiemi, Kinosuke and I had 1 each. But just when it came to me, it was the youth's turn to vote.
鴨志田に乗っかるわけじゃねえが、野里のボンクラに1票だ。長者はもうこの場にはいらね
え。私はそこまで言わないけど、投票されたからには逆に入れられても文句は言いませんよね、野里さん。というわけで、千恵美の1票もどうぞ。
貴様。
私も野里さんでいい。あなたはもういらない。
That's an interesting way to phrase that. We don't need you anymore. Uh-oh. With a surge of 4 consecutive votes, Kinosuke had taken the lead. There were just 4 left, including me.
私に。
Rokako, no.
あくまでそのスタンスですか。今日は死にかねませんよ。
それでも野里様が死んでもよいとは私は思いません。
リカ子さん。しかしリカ子さんの方がよほど死んでよいわけがあるか。
おじいちゃん。
あ？
牧島様は 狼ではないわよ、メイコ。
じゃあ、おじいちゃん。おじいちゃん。
What was up with this vote? Kinosuke had 4 votes while Rikako-san had 3. My options were to either consign Kinosuke to his fate, throw Rikako-san into danger, or vote for someone else entirely and leave Mamiya-san to deal with this dilemma. In other words, leaving it up to the confirmed liar. No, I couldn't. I was confident that I interpreted Rikako-san's actions correctly, so I...
野里清之助さんに。すみません。僕はあなたが狼だとは思わない。しかし。
Mamiya-san was the only other one with 2 votes. Even if I voted for her, there was no way she'd vote for herself, so trying to pit Kinosuke against her would be pointless. However, I knew telling him that wouldn't do him any good.
リカ子さんを失うわけにはいかなかった。
I knew those words were probably the last thing he wanted to hear. Still, I couldn't let that excuse, that reason, go unsaid. Not when he could understand it too.
そうか。
This made 5 votes. Morally, everyone understood it was the humans who deserved to survive, not the wolves. But in the end, Kinosuke had been unable to prove his life held more meaning than a wolf who'd revealed useful information while still alive.
一応、私は植松さんに。理由は行動が不自然だから。
縄持ってこい。
We passed through the mist and walked toward the graveyard. And they're singing the song again. Everyone was singing Prayer to Shinai. I couldn't tell who had started it or when they did so. The sobbing mixed with singing made it seem like it was an old funeral, but it was actually an execution. Painfully slowly, we were walking along the path to the cliff next to Saranaga. I was already used to this thanks to all the cleanups. Before I knew it, even Mamiya-san and I... Yeah, so this is pretty much the same as the other time. Then we reached our destination. It was downhill, beyond the trees, wet with dew, in a grass field covered in stones, marking the lives of those who used to live here. Strangely enough, the aged pine tree right at the end could be seen easily despite the mist. As we stopped, so did the song in emotion.
野里様、申し訳ありません。私の力及ばず。
リカ子さん、いいのですよ。
He gave me a glance.
言ったからには、リカ子さんは貴様が守れ。
That was all he said.
わかりました。
I didn't actually want to say that. It didn't sound like he simply meant to protect her for the rest of the feast when he said that. But the survivors had the obligations to honor the dead's last wishes.
よろしいですか？
ああ。あなたに背を押されるならば、それもまた本望です。
落ちなかれ。
落ちなかれ。
And then, Kinosuke Nasato's body fell to the bottom of the misty cliff, and the hanging rope stopped due to the fatal impact. He let out a horrifying death wail. Afterwards, we all returned to the dining hall, where Kaori-san and I served a light lunch while time passed by. Everyone tried to act as normal as possible. They tried to convince themselves that Kinosuke shouldn't have been in Yasumi's in the first place, so his absence was only natural. However, it was clear that they felt guilty for committing murder. Killing someone no one liked and talking as though none of it had ever happened was a horrible group mentality. That was the truth of the Feast of the Yomi Purge. It was kill or be killed, and unfortunately, it was next to impossible to finish the feast without wasting a life. I chatted away with the others, with those thoughts in my mind as a certain concern ate away at me. As much as I felt bad about it, I didn't kill Kinosuke-shi. Had I made the wrong move in the end? Hadn't I let someone who should have been purged live so I could save myself? No, that didn't mean this was a failure. There was a high chance my fears were unfounded. I was overthinking things. I knew I was, but for some reason, I felt the presence of beasts. I couldn't help but feel that.
さあ、なんでとかは僕にはわからん。けどなんかね、匠兄が蛇だって言った時、嫌な感じがしたんだ。
Yep, so this is the fall into the wolf's trap ending.
ああ、今、狼様が笑ったなーって。
I felt like I now understood that feeling. Had I fallen right into their trap? That worry, man, if I had picked this first, now would be the time where I think I would suspect this was a bad ending, because we're not, getting any more scenes or talking with anyone anymore. That worry plagued me all the way through dinner and bedtime. If Asako Mamiya's false declaration was a suicidal attack meant to weed out the real snake, then there was a chance she'd be coming for me, despite knowing she'd be the prime suspect for the next day. In that case, which of the two snakes would the spider protect? Right now, there were two self-proclaimed snakes. Should I have tried to crush Asako Mamiya, even if it meant getting a little too desperate and being suspected by the others as a result? No, it was okay. If I was right about Meiko being the spider and Rokako-san controlling her, then Rokako-san would surely protect me. If it was between Mamiya-san and I, she'd definitely choose me. Those thoughts bounced back and forth from lunch, all the way until I drowsily wrote someone's name down and put it under my pillow. And then I lost consciousness. In the end, I never woke up. Guess that figures. After all, only the spiders themselves knew what they were thinking. The wolves must have aimed their claws at me, taking the risk that the spider hadn't chosen me. And they'd won their bet, so that was that. I couldn't even tell if that was that. I couldn't even tell if that was what I thought when I died. It was all so vague. I lay there in comatose slumber, and it was there that my life met its end and faded into the mist that covered all. Bad ending number 13. Yes, let us watch this hint corner, please.
やっちまったな大将。
Yes, I have.
ついに読み意味の宴に本格参戦だ。こっからは厳しい戦いになるぜ。気合い入れてヒント聞いてけな。今回のバッドエンド13、題して正直者が損をして死亡についてだが、大将はもしや人狼ゲームのセオリーに忠実に従った結果、ここに来たかもしれねえな。人は嘘をつかない。ここでは間宮久子が偽物なのは明白だから、ちゃんと名乗り出るべきだってな。そりゃその通りだ。しかし、しっかり覚えておいてくれ。これは実はチーム戦じゃねえ。
Not playing with the team.
人狼ゲームだとチームの勝利のために自分が死ぬって選択が許されるが、久石春明は死んだら戻る。先に進めねえ。
So he has to play a little selfishly.
今回は久石春明が危惧してたように、狼側の罠って降参が大きい。自己中な選択もやむなしってことだ。ぶっちゃけ言えば、5、基地の9、過去の開示はで適切な選択肢を選ぶこと。つうわけで、今回はここまで。次も元気に死んでこい。
Well, okay, let's think about this. My suspicion right now is lying, oopsie daisy, for two of the wolves at least. Mochi and Haru are definitely on the top of my list right now. Both of them voted for Misato. And Haru had that one suspicious line there. We don't need you anymore. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess that's the... Okay, so Haraki's not actually playing for a team because he's stuck in this with all this looping business. I see. Okay. So I guess just the strategy is you just have to play selfishly. Just completely. I can't allow myself to try and think, you know, I've never played the Werewolf Mafia game, but if I tried to think of it in that way, that's actually not appropriate for what we're doing here, I guess is the lesson. And that's tough. That's tough because Haruaki doesn't just want to win. Like, he has to play selfishly if he wants to survive and get further. But he does want to save people. That's the crazy thing. No. Go to menu. Let's see. Okay. How long have I been going? Okay, I've been going... Man. You know what? I don't think I'm ready to move on from this. So let's just talk about a few other things, and then we'll call it. And next time we'll go forward from here. So once again, if you think it's a good idea to go back and choose like Mamiya or Kinosuke for the that earlier choice, you know, you can give me your opinion and give me your reasons. I don't think I want to do that, though. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Mamiya and Kinosuke are just going to be humans. I think Takumi... And I think Mamiya is probably just the badger, which would be human. I did see a few of your comments regarding this choice. A few people were curious about Takumi, about just, you know, what Haruaki said, is what would it be if you picked the same person again. I think someone wanted to see Hisako, just to get that sort of confirmation, I guess. Few wanted Mochi, which is going to be my choice, I think. But I don't think anyone mentioned Kyonosuke or Haru. At least I can't remember them doing that. So that's interesting. But yeah, if anything, that whole bad end we just did has made me more suspicious of Haru as a wolf. I'm thinking it's a Chikamochi Haru team at least. I don't know if I had to give the answer right now, they'd be my two guesses for the wolf. Don't know about a third right now. I have to go back and look who all voted for Misato this time. I can't remember off the top of my head. Chiemi did too. But of course, she has the reasoning that Misato voted for her. Boy, imagine a Mochi Haru Chiemi team. That would be quite something. Yeah. Definitely not sure about Chiemi, though. More sure on Mochi and Haru. But obviously that wouldn't be good if Chiemi was a wolf. Yeah, so looking at this list, I'm thinking human, 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 Hisako being a badger, and then wolf. That's my guess at the moment. So I'm gonna choose Chikamochi next. Get that confirmation. If he's a human, then I'll officially be lost, I think. I'd have to try and rethink all of this. But yeah, I think we'll save it for next time. Because although it wasn't terribly long, it did run a bit longer. But it makes sense because we were in the feast and we'd have to get to the end of the day in order to get that ending. So yeah. Yeah, I don't want to start something that could last for, a scene that could last quite a long time. So we'll call it here today. Shorter episode, but got some good information there. Yep. So I appreciate the suggestion to do that. I think that was an all right thing to do. Gave us some more stuff. I'll have to look at that again. I want to tally down the vote, the vote counts for that. I just didn't. Obviously, I'm not going to do it just in the moment. I'll go back and tally those later. But yeah, so I've been The Worm. This has been Raging Loop. Hope you're all doing well. Next time, I will make the choice, and we will hopefully get some decisive information. Okay. I'll see you next time.